Hey guys, Sheri Richardson from Experimental Homesteader Exotic Gardening, SheriRicherson.com and biannualblogathonbash.com, and welcome to our daily vlog. So I've been thinking of what a year 2020 has been. And I guess along with all the chaos and craziness of the year, for me, at least, it's brought a lot of clarification. As I had said in an earlier video, many of the things that I enjoyed doing, working with my herbs, working with essential oils, the food preservation, the whole homesteading thing, I had kind of gotten away from, to be truthful with you. I was doing a few things, but not near what I wanted to do, not near what I should have been doing. My preps were definitely way down. And so with the purchase of all the apothecary supplies the other day, I have started thinking about what do I need to stock up on? What do I need to make sure that I have just in case, because obviously numbers are going up with COVID. I won't be surprised if there's another lockdown after the election. I really expect the election to be crazy, just crazy. I've seen so many stories that the ballots with Trump's name on them have been found in the trash. They're saying the same thing about Biden. You know, his ballots are being found in the trash. Who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows? And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, to be truthful with you. I'm sick of all the politics that people want to play with, you know, well, I want this or that before I'm going to agree to a stimulus. And, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But many of us already knew we really couldn't count on the government to come through should something like this happen. So I did some canning this year. Was actually getting a really good start on stuff until I ended up in the hospital with diverticulitis. And I'm still having a lot of pain. I'm still trying to get back to eating normal food. I definitely do not feel like doing any lifting of canning pots or doing canning or anything that's going to be that involved, that length of time. So my plans to put up a lot more meat into canning jars and more vegetables and other things that I had planned definitely at this point is not going to happen, which makes me really sad because I was really looking forward to having all of the fruits and vegetables and things, some meat canned, you know, being ready. And that clearly, like I said, it's not going to happen. I have been thinking about how this could have happened. And because of Jeff's time off work and having some financial struggles, I had started going to the weekly food giveaway. They were giving away a lot of chicken nuggets and things like that, you know, processed foods. And we was eating a lot of that. And I feel like it did contribute to the problem I'm having. We tried some of the chicken nuggets the other night, and I just couldn't eat them. You know, they don't bother Jeff at all. But processed food really bothers me a lot. So one thing that I can do that I'm not having, you know, any issues, I am putting up eggs into cabinet storage. And I'm doing that by using 1 quart of water to 1 ounce of pickling lime and just mixing that up and then just putting the eggs inside of that liquid. This has been done since, at least the 1800s, maybe longer. It's a great way to preserve your eggs without having to refrigerate or freeze them. And they keep up to 2 years. They do degrade over time. So, the faster you eat them, the fresher they're going to be. But if you're just wanting them for baked goods and things like that, it's really not a big deal if they get kind of runny. I should have started this way earlier in the season than what I did. I'm getting a really late start because the chickens are starting to cut back on the amount of eggs that they're laying, and these do have to be fresh, clean eggs. You don't wash them, but you need to make sure there's no dirt or poop or anything like that on them. So they do have to be fresh, just out of the barn, and I don't know how many I'll get put up like that. The good news is we don't eat a lot of eggs because I'm allergic. And so mainly eggs are used in baked goods or to make pasta or something like that. So I feel like that's going to give us a really, a sufficient supply of eggs to get us through the winter. As long as, like they don't stop tomorrow. But if they continue to lay for a couple more weeks, we'll have plenty. The milk that I had got from Milking Mama next door is pretty much still in the freezer. I had bought stuff and intended to make cheese. I had 1 batch of Colby cheese that turned out that will be ready here in another couple weeks. I had a batch that was a complete failure. It just would not mold together. I gave it to the neighbors. I got a little bit too much salt on it. She used it in a recipe and omitted the salt that the recipe called for, as she said it was perfect for what she did with it. So that was really good. I had intended to make some Parmesan cheese, and again, it's just another one of those things that, you wouldn't think a little thing like diverticulitis would mess with you so much. But it has. It's really, I don't feel like I have a lot of strength or energy right now. And I know that'll get better. Since I'm a little bit afraid of going to Planet Fitness because of how packed they are, we are getting my elliptical uncovered so that I can work out here. And I'm going to really miss the hydro massage. But again, it's finding the time to go there when they're not just packed. So I was in there. I wasn't happy that the machines were still just like they had been before coronavirus. They did not have any of the machines at our local Planet Fitness marked off. So people could be, right next to one another, and I didn't like that. And I do realize that a lot of us will get COVID and we'll get over it and it won't be a big deal. But with Jeff and I both having some underlying health issues, I guess it's just not a chance we want to take. I mean, not that I intend to take the vaccine. And so I'm sure at some point that we will end up with this. But I'm hoping by then maybe they have some more answers, because I feel like a lot of people are, working on trying to understand this and how it works and, why some people die and why some people don't. So I'm thinking in time, maybe they'll have those answers, and when people with underlying health conditions do get it, maybe they'll be able to make sure that they come through okay. Now, I'm not one that normally gets the flu at all, but I am very prone to pneumonia. I've had that several times in my adult life, plus when I was a child, along with scarlet fever several times. So, like I said, it's not something that I'm really wanting to get at this point. The other thing that I've been doing a lot of is learning to sew with my embroidery machine. There's a lot of in the hoop patterns, but I went ahead and I bought some actual sewing patterns as well, because I kind of feel like maybe learning to sew is a good idea. I mean, you think about it and you think about how things were shut down and our supply chain and stuff. And I have plenty of fabric, plenty. And what I didn't know was there were small companies that was still able to get fabric in. Yes, it was, 12-week shipping and all kinds of craziness, but they could still get fabric even when other places were shut down, sold out, whatever. So what I'm trying to do now is think about what I might need should we go through another shutdown, and stock up on those items a little bit at a time. Get some fabric ahead, and if I need it, great, and if I don't, then I'll use it for some other project. I mean, I just feel like the more skills that we can get at this point, the better off we're going to be. And I guess that's my advice to you guys. What skills do you maybe have, but they aren't real strong? What things can you stock up on? An extra pack of toilet paper, some extra canned food. Do you have chickens, and can you get some pickling lime, which, by the way, I couldn't find it in the stores, so I ordered it off Amazon. To put some eggs up that are going to be shelf stable. And I encourage you to start thinking that way. What would you have that you could eat that doesn't require refrigeration, and that if it requires heating, that you could do outside on an open fire, on a barbecue grill? Start thinking about that, guys, because we don't know what winter's going to bring. And we know there's been all kinds of threats against the grid. And we also know that a lot of times in the winter, the grid goes down just because of severe weather or whatever. I'm very grateful that we have our wood burner up and running, because I know cooking on it is an option that I have. Plus, of course, we always have heat then. So I really want to encourage you, if you haven't been thinking about being more self-sufficient and doing more things for yourself and relying less on the government, relying less on life as we know it with all the conveniences, start thinking about this, because you never know. I mean, most people never thought that the situation that occurred in March with COVID would ever happen, but there we was. So anyway, guys, please subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments below. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.